Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, this is a special Chatting with CHAP because we're not only chatting with CHAP, we're chatting with HSLDA too. Woohoo! So, this is Ginger Wade, your standard host, and I have with me Will Estrada today, which if you've never seen him, you're missing out because he's our HSLDA lawyer, representative, person guy, and he's awesome. Also a Pennsylvania graduate. So we are here together because we're where? Where are we, Will?
We're in Denton, Texas. You probably can't see my cowboy boots, but I've got them on. And we are here at HSLDA's National Leadership Conference, where all the HSLDA staff come with the state organizations that we work so closely with.
Yay! So we're super excited. And so what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about CHAP, who CHAP is, what they do, HSLDA, who CHAP is, what they do, how we work together. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some law-related things.
I like it.
Okay, so here we go. So CHAP, what is CHAP? If you haven't seen recently, I did do an episode on this with my podcast about explaining what CHAP is. So, but really briefly, we are a support organization. So we are here to help homeschool families have what they need to homeschool. So if you need help with the law, understanding the law, if you need forms, if you need encouragement, if you need to be connected with people, if you need evaluators, mentors, all those types of things, that is what we do as an organization. That's why we exist, to serve the homeschool community. So, how about HSLDA?
So HSLDA was founded in 1983. We're lawyers, we do the legal work, but the best way I like to describe it is you all in CHAP, you're like the Navy SEALs, you're like the foot soldiers that come in, boots on the ground, and we're sort of like the Air Force that comes in giving you that air cover when you need it. It's important to note we could not do what we do without your work, what CHAP is doing, what state organizations around the country are doing. So if you're not yet joined in and affiliated with CHAP and a member of CHAP, go ahead and do it right away because it's so important.
Yeah. So we work as a team. So like where Will was saying, we're kind of the boots on the ground. We know what's going on, what the flavor of homeschooling is in our state, if you will. We're making connections with legislators. We're building those relationships, and HSLDA is there. You know, when the legal stuff starts happening or legislation starts happening, you know, they're the ones who can read that stuff. I mean, and help us to be well equipped to teach you, get you involved in different things, right?
Yes.
So very important partnerships. So moving forward from that, so we're working together as a team. So you and I know that it's been a little crazy in Pennsylvania this year. Lots of overreach, lots of letters going out to school districts. There's a lot going on. So what is it that homeschoolers should be doing? How should homeschoolers be prepared to be homeschoolers as far as the law goes? Like, there's a law in Pennsylvania. Like, is it possible for a homeschooler to know the law for themselves? Like, what's the obvious answer to that question?
Well, Ginger, that's a great question. So I was homeschooled in Pennsylvania. My dad served as an evaluator. My 7 younger siblings were all homeschooled in Pennsylvania. First off, love the work that CHAP does. We used to come to the CHAP convention all the time. I still get to go to the CHAP convention, only this time speaking. So love working with Sarah and Alicia and, of course, Ginger and all of their team. You probably saw the news recently that our litigation team filed a lawsuit in Elanco. The school district was actually doing home visits, coming in and saying, give us your high school diplomas for parents. And it really illustrates, first we'll have more updates in the next couple of weeks about the lawsuit. We always have to be careful what we say when a lawsuit is filed, but we'll have more updates about that. But it really raises an important question. So, Ginger, as you know, Pennsylvania has one of the most detailed and complex laws in the nation. And we get this question sometimes of like, well, you know, do we have to follow the law? And I always tell people, first off, I'm a lawyer, you know, I'm an officer of the court, but also I believe very strongly in the rule of law. When a legislature passes a law, we elect them. This is part of our constitutional system, our federal system of government, where the federal government has some power. The states have most of the power, the Commonwealth in Pennsylvania, and then the local government has some power as well. It's important as good citizens, as people who follow the law, as people who respect the rule of law, that we know the law ourselves. There are some important parts of the law. I always encourage people to go back and read it. Obviously, you have to file that either affidavit or unsworn declaration and your objectives by August 1st. You then have to have your children evaluated and submit that evaluation by June 30th. But then also, school districts have to follow the law.
Yeah.
They are arms of the government, and so just as individual families have to follow the law, school districts have to follow the law, and they cannot go beyond that. And that's sort of why we filed that lawsuit against Elanco School District. So I always encourage people, comply with the law, follow the law. It's there. Our legislature passed it. But if a school district is asking for more than the law comes in, that's also a no-no. They need to stay within the law. They need to follow the rule of law as well. And sometimes we get to that gray area of, well, what some parts I have to do, what do I have to give to the school district? And that's why it's so important to know the law. If you have questions, speak with CHAP. If you're a member of HSLDA, call HSLDA, because we want to make sure we're following the law, but not leaving an opening for school districts to come in and get more information than they are legally entitled to. It's part of rule of law and respect for our constitutional system.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're wondering what the law is, you've actually never read it for yourself, or it's been a while since you've read it, go to homeschoolpennsylvania.org. That lays it all out. There's a page that has the law, just boom, right there. You can read it. But then there's other breakdown pages that explains it in further detail, and there are videos that explain all those little parts too if you're a video person. So there's a lot of explanation, and if you have questions, write into us. There's a contact form at chaponline.com. Write your questions in. We are here to explain things for you. We are here to help you. So you were mentioning overcompliance, or not overcompliance, overreach by the schools. So what are some of the most frequent ways we see overreach? Like, I know we were talking the other day, and it's kind of like, okay, so whatever's listed on that affidavit or unsworn declaration, like the diploma thing, like the age of your child, like the medical records and stuff, if it's listed in that document, the document is the proof and the evidence, right? So if the school district comes back and says, well, I want proof of that, or I want more information, like proof of residency, like give me your electric bill, I don't know, what are they looking for? If it's in that document covers it, and that's it, right?
Correct. So Pennsylvania is unique. There are only a few other states that have this. Every year on that August 1st deadline, you're submitting under penalty of perjury a notarized affidavit or an unsworn declaration saying that under penalty of perjury, you are going to follow the law, you have a high school diploma or equivalent, that you are going to provide the education for your children, the name of your child, the age of your child, your address, the home instruction program site, and all of that you're saying under penalty of perjury that you're going to do. There's an important sentence. This is at 24 Pennsylvania statute, section 13-1327.1, subparagraph B. At the very end of that subparagraph, it says, and the notarized affidavit or unsworn declaration shall be sufficient evidence thereof. That's a very important sentence, because unless a school district has evidence or proof that you're lying, and don't, because that's perjury, that's really bad, and it's against the law. Unless they have that evidence, then that notarized affidavit or unsworn declaration is sufficient evidence thereof. So when a school district is saying, give us a copy of the parent's high school diploma, give us the date of birth or the grade of your child, give us your rental agreement or your mortgage, that is information that you already said under penalty of perjury on your notarized affidavit or unsworn declaration. That is an example of a school district not following the rule of law and going beyond what the duly elected Pennsylvania legislature has done. And if your school district is doing that, contact CHAP, contact HSLDA to discuss what would be the best way to respond to that.
Yeah, so don't automatically give them what they want. Get some advice from us before moving forward, right? So and sometimes it depends on the situation, right?
And here's an example. So generally you don't have to give your rental agreement or your mortgage, to show your residence. But if your children are participating in career and tech education or sports or public school access, if you're trying to get something from the public school, then it's a little different. You probably will need to show proof of residency. You might even need to give them the child's date of birth to be entered. So again, it's complex. The law is complex. In general, it's pretty basic, but if there's a unique circumstance, then the school district may be correct. And so that's why I always say, know the law. If the school district is asking for more, go ahead, contact CHAP, contact HSLDA. One thing that's a no-no that I've actually been surprised to see a little bit is if a superintendent asks to see your portfolio, do not provide to them. That's something that the evaluator, who has to be properly qualified under the law, reviews and then submits the evaluation. Prior to 2014, you actually did need to bring your portfolio in. There were 8 of us kids. My mom was sort of a overachiever. I love my mom very much. She's probably gonna watch this video actually. And she would have, hi mom, she would have portfolios like that thick for each child, and it was pretty involved and a lot of information. But now it's been much easier. Your portfolio is reviewed by your qualified evaluator. And you bringing the portfolio to the superintendent, sometimes we want to be like, oh, let's be nice, and what can be the harm of it? We've been actually seeing some superintendents kind of going over it with a fine-tooth comb, and then it causing problems for the homeschool family. So that's one of those that I always say, this should be a, DEFCON 1, red lights going off. If a superintendent is asking for your portfolio, that is not in the law, and that should have warning bells going off. Contact CHAP, contact HSLDA.
Yeah, and it's okay to take it the safe approach, right? It's okay to get advice before responding right away.
Right.
And if it's not coming directly from the superintendent, either you're getting letters or notes or calls from an assistant or a secretary or someone else. I mean, it's supposed to come. Communication is supposed to come to us from the superintendent, right?
So that's a really important part, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the very last 2 paragraphs of the home education statute, so this is 24 Pennsylvania statute, section 13-1327.1, subparagraph H1, I1, and J1, they lay out a process. If the school district doesn't think you're following the law, they can't file truancy charges, they can't hotline you to Child Protective Services. There is a process that they have to send a certified letter signed by the superintendent, not an underling of the superintendent, setting forth what they believe that you're out of compliance with, and then giving you 30 days to respond. Not 15 days, not 10 days, not 27 days, 30 days to respond. Technically speaking, if you're getting phone calls, if you're getting emails, you don't need to acknowledge those, although I always do recommend contact HSLDA, contact CHAP, because that could be something that we need to know about or we should give you guidance on. But if you ever get a certified letter by the superintendent, that's major. Call HSLDA if you're a member of HSLDA, get legal help, because that is a very important legal step. There's a provision in the law that if you're found out of compliance, if a hearing officer rules against the family, you can lose the right to homeschool for 12 months. We have never had that happen with an HSLDA member. It's very, very rare, but it's one of those reasons that I always remind families, we need to take this seriously. Homeschooling is, I believe, a fundamental right, a God-given right given to us by our Creator. And Pennsylvania has significant regulations compared to other states, but also significant regulations on school districts as well, that they cannot just ignore the law willy-nilly.
Yeah, so if your school district's, they've been doing this for years, well, that doesn't make it okay, right? So if they're doing they've been asking for diplomas for 20 years or whatever, everyone's just done it. Well, that doesn't, and they're used to it. So they're not gonna like that you don't do it, right? If you stand up and say, well, I'm not gonna do this because the law doesn't say I have to, they might balk at that. And I mean, we gotta educate them. It's okay to take the law in and say, show me where it says I'm supposed to show this to you, or here, have a copy of the law. So it's on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. We have little booklets, so you can grab them from us at our next event. But yeah, just because the school district has always done it, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So yeah, be educated, stand firm on the law, do what is right, and we're here to support you. So if you have questions or just want to make sure you're on the right page, doing the right thing, that's why we exist, right? That's why we're here. We're here to serve and help you. Anything else you think we need to cover?
I think that covers it. I as a Pennsylvania homeschool graduate, as my family was members of CHAP, I love working closely with CHAP, and it's been a lot of fun being with the entire CHAP team and their board here in Denton, Texas. Still trying to get you guys to come to the rodeo on Friday, so we'll see if I can drive them out to the rodeo.
I did bring cowboy boots, so I would fit in. So it's been great. We appreciate you so much too. It is such a joy to work with you and to, just to serve homeschoolers together. It is so, our thinking, discussing things, and as we're planning things, it's just really a joy to have this ministry together with you guys. We appreciate it.
We're very grateful. Thank you.
It's been great. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment below. Write into us. Like I said, contact form at chaponline.com. Share this video far and wide. Make people aware. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Spread the word of freedom, and enjoy your homeschooling with your children, because it is what we've been called to. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.